You might have heard about this new 300-player Battle Royale game called Planetside Arena, but is it actually worth your time? Let's discuss. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Fable as usual, and as you might know, I have been craving for a new Battle Royale game. Previously, I grinded a lot of PUBG, and I also tried Firestorm, I tried Blackout, I tried Apex Legends, but it just didn't get me the same feeling. And I even dabbed into Fortnite, but that didn't work at all. But I was looking for a Battle Royale game with lots of action, aggressive playstyle, lots of mobility, and I still couldn't find my game. But I think I found one. At least I found something with potential. Back in December 2018, Dayra Games, the original developer of H1Z1, one of the first Battle Royale games, actually revealed a new game called Planetside Arena. And what it showed back then during the trailers and the reveal was high mobility, personal vehicles, jetpacks, and even the main important draw for me, lots and lots of players, up to 1,000 players. I know that different developers were also trying to get Battle Royale games on the market with more and more players, because all the other Battle Royale games at the time had like 100. Like Fortnite had 100, PUBG had 100, and right now even Firestorm doesn't get more than 64. But okay, Planetside Arena promised 1,000 gamers, 1,000 actual players on one Battle Royale game, and to some it might sound like magic, but I still vaguely remember playing a game back in 2012 called Planetside 2, which is, by the way, still an alive game. But from what I remembered, Planetside 2 actually had 1,000 players in one server, and there were amazing chaotic battles back then. So somewhat told me that actually developers of Planetside could do it. They could actually make a big Battle Royale game. With the experience from H1Z1 and also the amazing universe from Planetside 2, I thought this could only be a masterpiece, so I started following the franchise again, and also especially Planetside Arena. Originally, Planetside Arena should have launched in January 2019, but many things have happened, and right now in September the game has actually launched into early access on Steam. The developers of the game have also shared a roadmap, and that roadmap shows every quarter new additions to the game, new modes, new weapons, new classes, all kinds of things. But the most important thing that it shows is that in 2020 the game will leave early access and will release on all different platforms as well. So if you do not own a PC and you have like a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One, then unfortunately you'll have to wait a little bit longer. Personally, I'm not a big fan of early access titles, because to me it screams like, hey guys, well, we're not really done with all the content when you want to be in the game yet, but you know, please already spend some bucks in the game to support the development. I'd much rather see a completely finished game, but on the upside, right now we can kind of steer development in the future, so if you do not like certain directions the game is going towards, we can still maybe as a community say no to this. And on the other hand as well, and this is really important, Planetside Arena is free to play. Yes, you heard me right, Planetside Arena is free to play! There you go. Do you really need a review? Just go try it out yourself, that's the most important thing. But, well, maybe while you're installing the game, just let me finish. Planetside Arena is not the usual Battle Royale game, and it shows directly from the start. Unlike in different Battle Royale games, you do not have to pick up weapons. No, you start with a loadout selected beforehand. You go into the lobby and you select your weapons. So, from the get-go, when you drop on the ground, there is a lot less RNG. It is not any longer the case that the first guy that finds the weapon will win the battle. No, there's an even playing field, which makes the early fights even more fun. To make it even better, Planetside Arena is designed with no inventory system. Yes, PUBG, Apex, they all use this kind of backpack mechanic, but in Planetside Arena it works a bit different. In Planetside Arena, what you will find on the battlefield are weapon upgrades, shield upgrades, ability upgrades, utility upgrades, but those just simply apply to your character. You just press the button, you press E once, and woof, your shield becomes better, woof, your ability becomes better. And yes, that's also one of the things. Planetside works with the class system. You've got the medic, the assault, and the engineer, and they all have their own ability. For example, a medic can do a healing AoE, or the engineer can actually place shields and even a turret to shoot. And well, what about the assault? The assault got a special jetpack that makes yourself just fly over like crazy fast. While these classes add some extra flavor to the game, Planetside Arena still focuses on the main aspect, and it is shooting, and I think that's the perfect choice. In, for example, Apex Legends, there are so many heroes that have their own abilities, and I think that those abilities are really distracting from what should be important, and that is gunplay. In the end, we're just playing a shooter, not a MOBA nor a building game, and I'm looking at you, Fortnite. Furthermore, I want to bring up game pace. In many Battle Royale games, it feels very slow. The map is really big and there are not a lot of players, and the players that are on the map are not very mobile. So finding fights sometimes takes quite a while, and not every game supports really aggressive playstyle. But no, that is different in Planetside Arena. First and foremost, well, there are supposed to be a lot of players on the map, and therefore there is also just a lot of action. To be on the players means action all through the game, but I will go back to this later in the video. What else is really important is your personal vehicle, the Flash or the Tempest. You can call these vehicles in almost all the time, and there's only a little cooldown. And therefore there is so much mobility. You can easily go from base to base to loot up quickly, and if you want to as well, just go look for fights. But beware, the minute you start using your personal vehicle or any other vehicle in the game, you appear with a marker on the minimap in the top left corner. I personally think that the minimap is probably one of the greatest additions in the game so far. It's only a really small addition, but having this makes sure you will find fights a lot easier. And in the end, I know it's about winning. Winning is probably the main goal in Battle Royale games, but I personally like the killing part a lot as well. And while we're talking about the killing part, I think it's also really important to bring up the respawn terminal, because yes, Planetside Arena has also been watching competitors. Many other Battle Royale games have been watching and learning from Apex Legends and their respawn terminal. Thanks to the respawn terminal, the game pace stays excellent, and also especially in the beginning phase, people tend to take a little bit more risk, because there is still this option for a respawn terminal, so you will be down but not out of the game yet, and I think this is great. The respawn terminals are, by the way, not the only thing the developers of the game learn from different Battle Royales. You might have heard about Counter-Strike Battle Royale, and I know this is a relatively small game mode and not really popular at all, but that game actually came with two important things that I don't think many other Battle Royales use, and that is first of all an in-game in-round economy and also a store to buy things at. The currency used within rounds is called nanites, and these nanites can be obtained by killing people, assisting people, or just by picking them up on the battlefield. Once you got them, you can also spend them, and one of the main things you can use them for are the respawn terminals. Every person will try to revive will cost you 1000 nanites. Moreover, these nanites can also be used to upgrade your weapons, your shield, or your different ability to at least the epic grade, because I haven't really explained this part yet. In the game there are 4 levels. You got your basic green level, the common ones, then you go to the rare blue color, the blue color grade with more upgrades, then you go to the epic variant, which is purple, or finally we have the legendary type, which is orange or gold. If you use a respawn terminal, you will lose all your upgrades, so the minute you actually respawn, you want to get your stuff back as quick as possible. So as long as you have enough nanites, you can actually go to the store and make sure you at least have some basic stuff ready. Luckily, nanites are quite easily obtainable, and also if any one of your friends finds nanites, they will share it with you as well. So even if you're very unlucky that you don't find any gear, you don't find any nanites, you will still be able to get some basic upgrades. And again, I think this fits perfectly in line with the RNG philosophy, because in the end, everyone on the battlefield will be give or take the same in the end game. Still though, and I think this is important to add, if you go aggressive, go look for airdrops or crates, whatever, and you do find legendary things like, for example, a legendary shield, you will have a noticeable advantage against, for example, an epic shield. While this does bring back some extra RNG elements, because sometimes you just can't find any airdrops and you're just a bit unlucky, but it does give you objectives mid-game, because obtaining one of these shields, obtaining one of the legendary weapons, does give you a reason to go to the fight. Airdrops though are quite common in Battle Royale games and nothing really special. But there are a few things that do set Planetside Arena apart from other competitors. The main game mode right now is called squads, and well, squads does sound normal, right? But what if I told you that this squad mode is actually not with 4, not with 3, but with 12 players. And well, 12 players feels completely different than what I've seen before in any Battle Royale. I know that you can do custom games within PUBG, but that doesn't come close to the feeling you have in Planetside Arena with 12 teammates. The coordination required for having these 12-man squads is quite hectic and quite an experience, but I also think that is one of the first negative points I need to mention over here. Right now, I have enough friends playing Planetside Arena that actually know how to play. However though, if you're new to the game and you just have no friends playing the game already, you will join a solo queue with 11 randoms. And you might be very lucky. Some players are actively using voice chat and game voice comms, and then in that case it is a pleasure to play. Sometimes though, people are not using the in-game voice chat, and right now there's, for example, not a way to use pings, there's not a way to really communicate without voice. Games like Apex Legends really figured this out. They have a really innovative and intuitive way to use a pinging system. While I still think that voice comms are the way to go, it's still the quickest way, the best way, but if you can't use or you don't want to use a microphone, you shouldn't feel left out, because you still want to participate in the game, you still want to contribute to the game, and having a simple pinging system for example items, that will be great. I still have to remember myself that this game is in early access, so already people actually handed over this feedback, so they might think about adding this in the future. But right now it is not in the game, so this is some legit critique. That is not the only problem I find with squads right now. If you are able to actually find 11 friends or 11 people to play with against 12 others, I've got the feeling you are winning 9 out of 10 games. It might be just me and my friends being really good at the game, but so far, having a pre-made team against a not pre-made team is an easy win. Having said that though, I do think this is an issue in many Battle Royale games. Even in squads of 4 in PUBG, if you play against a non-coordinated team, you will always win. But okay, I do think it's a lot easier to find 3 friends to coordinate and play with than to find 11 friends to play with. So how do we solve this? Well, I don't really know a way for Daybreak Games to solve it in the game, but for you as a player, I might have a solution. In my Discord, a link will be in the description down below. There is a looking for group channel, so if you do not want to risk playing alone with a non-coordinating team, then just go sit in one of the voice channels, and probably there are also random players that do want to join you. I do still have some more issues with Planetside Arena that I need to address. Quite recently, the developers of Planetside Arena added a tank to the game called the Vanguard. I do not entirely know why they added a tank to the game. In games like Battlefield 5, there is a good balance with tanks and infantry, but I feel like that there are way too little ways to actually damage tanks right now in Planetside Arena. Currently, the tank has a really annoying knockback effect and also a one-hit kill if aimed correctly. Whereas if you try to actually damage a tank, you need to be lucky and find a decimator or any other rocket rifle in the game. And I think that that shouldn't be the case. I know there are some different mechanics in the game as well to also disable tanks. For example, your secondary on your SMG can actually flip tanks to also destroy them. But in general, when you end the game and it's one squad against one other squad, and one squad has like 5 Vanguard tanks in there, well, tough luck. I guess it will be a very hard time to actually win that game. Quite frankly, if you ask me, you can just remove the tanks from the game. I don't think they add a lot right now. But otherwise, at least make it capable for normal guns to actually damage the tanks. I know that might not be the most realistic because normal bullets won't actually damage tank armor. But come on, this is a sci-fi game and I think that having fun is more important than realism. What's more, what I also don't really like right now is the performance, and I'm talking about raw FPS. I've got some decent hardware, for example 1080 Ti and a Ryzen 7 2700X, and that should be more than capable in delivering above 100 frames. Maybe not constantly, but at least on average. I think I more often than not get around 70, 80, sometimes 90, but I think that is too low for what the game shows. I do think the art style is beautiful, it looks some bit like Borderlands, but it isn't really that beautiful in comparison to a game like Battlefield 5. And even Battlefield 5 manages with the same hardware to show a lot more frames. I'm a PC gamer, I've got a 144Hz monitor, and I just want to see some more performance. This is really important in competitive shooters. And I think personally that this game with this art style should be capable of showing a lot more frames. But unfortunately, I do know it is early access, but from my experience with Planetside 2 with the same engine, the 4-slot engine, I do not think that performance will become a lot better. I think this is one of the downsides of this game, but we might see, they might surprise me. But for now, performance is also one of the downsides. Also, I do want to mention the following, and I think this looks plain ugly, is that when you zoom in and go look with your scope to a far away enemy, it won't show their real armor. What it will actually show is only their white contrast. It's really easy that way to spot enemies, so I think gameplay wise it's okay. But I actually got a beautiful skin. I'm grinding for more skins, so why can't I show that to them? I think it's part right now of improving the performance in the game, because in Planetside 2 they actually do show enemies quite well on the map, so that might again change in the future. Anyway, I'm reading the game with my own eyes right now, so for now, for this review, I do have to mention it as a downside. But I already quickly and shortly mentioned grinding. And I have already mentioned this game is free to play, and one of the main concerns always with free to play games is it pay to win? There are so many bad multiplayer games out there on the market with a really bad monetization mechanic, and I was kind of afraid that Planetside Arena would fall into the same category. However, I have seen many players mention the game as pay to win. I've seen many mention that. However, that's not true. That is just simply fake news. I can say a lot of fake news in 2019, but that is fake news. The game, I will say it right now, uses a mod system. So yes, mods are actually able to be purchasable thanks to loot crates, loot boxes. That is the way how they want to make money with the game, and nothing in this world is free. So yes, of course there is some way of monetization in the game as well. And the loot boxes are giving you modifications, ways to actually differentiate your weapons or your abilities. And so yes, actually spending money on the game will have impact. But then the big question is, what kind of impact does it have? Does it really improve your gameplay? Does it make it easier to kill you? And no, it doesn't give you a direct damage buff. It doesn't give you a direct health buff. What it does do is, for example, if you're playing as a medic, you can actually get the legendary modification, and that will improve your revive time from 6 to 4 seconds. Another modification example is one that actually enables you to repair vehicles passively. Those modifications do change how you can play the game. If I'm a medic and I'm actually using that modification to improve my revive times, yes, of course, I will go in to go for quick revives. So yes, it does have impact on the game, so it makes the game different. But it doesn't make you win the game directly. It isn't if you pay $10, you will easily win the game. No, what matters in this game is skill. If you can't position, if you can't aim, you can get whatever implant you want, but you will never win the game. What is a problem though, but this is also a part of being a free-to-play game, is that there is a lot of grind. I know, in the end, everyone wants to unlock every freaking modification. And that is of course should be the end goal, I guess. But to unlock all the modifications, you will need to open a lot of loot boxes. And what I've noticed so far, and they might still up this a little bit in the future, but the amount of daily challenges, the amount of weekly challenges, the amount of games you need to play to actually get enough in-game currency to unlock more loot boxes, that just takes so long. There is really a grind to it, but in the end, the question is, does it matter that much? I have experienced right now myself, if I play with the basic modifications, the basic stuff, I still have a rather similar game. The game is still about shooting, it's not about modifications. Ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, this game is pay to skip the grind, and I don't like the grind. I would have much rather just seen people buying skins in the game. I think that would be a better system. But I also do have the feeling that right now the modification is some sort of progression they want to have in the game. Because right now there is not really that much progression, and progression is promised for later this year and later in 2020. But okay, the grind right now is pretty hard. The grind is pretty hard. Anyway, Probably the whole pay to win or pay to skip discussion is worth a whole video on its own. However though, I do want to mention this in this review because to many it's really important to know if a game is worth to play because sometimes the grind is just too unbearable. For example, to me that's the case in Warframe. Anyway, there is one more thing that I need to talk about, and that is player population. This game, Planetside Arena, is made for 300 players. Everything just screams large, screams big, it screams massive. And that's good, because Planetside is known about massive battles, large things. But to support that, to support these big battles, to support everything, to support the big player lobbies, to support little waiting time, you need a lot of players. That is in every Battle Royale game the case, but especially in Planetside Arena with the emphasis on the large player numbers in one Battle Royale game, that is just so necessary. Unfortunately, right now the game has just launched in early access, and there is not that much marketing for the game. The game is relatively unknown. Therefore, many games do start with up to 100 players, give or take. 100 players is still good. PUBG is the same and the map size is the same as in PUBG. 64 square kilometers, 8x8. But this game isn't PUBG, it is Planetside, and it shows its true potential with full lobbies of 300 players. The developers of Planetside Arena have many more plans in mind to make the game larger, bigger and even more massive. But if there's not enough player base to support that, to support those plans, I don't think it will work. There are still some rough edges, but the gameplay of Planetside Arena is really solid. It is truly an unpolished diamond in the gaming industry. It's a game with a lot of future potential, and I'm really curious how it will work out in the end, how it will work out in the future. How are they going to implement crossplay with consoles? How are they going to fix performance? Are they going to add a better pinging system like in Apex Legends? All questions I want to hear answers on, but unfortunately I don't know yet. All I know right now is that I'm having fun, and so many more players in the community are having fun as well. It's a game that actually works, and to be honest guys, when I was beta testing this game back in January and also back in September, I was really afraid because the performance was even worse, and I think that the game has improved a lot since then. And I do have trust, thanks to this, that the developers can even push this further in the future as well. But to come to a conclusion, do I recommend this game? Yes, 100%. This game right now is in a good state and it can only improve. Just try it out yourself though, it's free to play and I think your own opinion is of course the most important. But it is definitely worth a shot if you ask me. If you want to stay up to date with more news about Planetside Arena, then do not forget to press the big red subscribe button down below and hit the little bell icon to not miss a single video from me in the future. Anyways guys, that is me, that is Fable1, and I'll see you soon with some more content.